Everything changed. In a split second, the most shocking dashcam crashes ever recorded. A driver glances away for just 1 second. A speeding SUV suddenly loses control. A truck jackknifes across 3 lanes. A car runs a red light without slowing down. A motorcyclist appears from nowhere. A highway turns into complete chaos, and a driver learns the hard way that even perfect weather doesn't guarantee a safe journey. Everything you're about to see was captured by real dashcams. Some drivers walked away, others were lucky to survive, and every crash started with what looked like a normal day on the road. Let's begin. Welcome back to Fatal Frame Cases. Today we're looking at some of the most spectacular dashcam crashes ever captured on camera. Watch carefully and see if you can spot the mistake before impact. Because on the road, a single decision can change everything.
Whoa! Oh, crap!
Traffic is moving smoothly on a busy interstate. Visibility is excellent. Road conditions are perfect. Nothing appears dangerous. But far ahead, vehicles begin slowing unexpectedly. Most drivers react immediately. One doesn't. Watch the white sedan in the center lane. The driver seems distracted for just a moment. By the time he notices traffic stopping ahead, it's already too late. He slams on the brakes. The tires lock. The car skids forward. Impact. But the crash doesn't stop there. A pickup truck behind him swerves violently to avoid the wreck. That maneuver sends the pickup into the neighboring lane. Another vehicle collides with its rear quarter. A third driver brakes hard. A fourth driver has nowhere to go. Within seconds, one mistake triggers a massive chain reaction involving multiple vehicles. Fortunately, emergency services arrived quickly, but this crash demonstrates how a single delayed reaction can affect dozens of people. Intersections are among the most dangerous places on any roadway. Here, traffic lights clearly control the flow of vehicles. Everyone should know exactly when to stop. Yet accidents continue to happen every day. The dashcam vehicle enters the intersection legally on a green light. Everything appears normal. Then suddenly, a black SUV bursts into frame from the right. The vehicle never slows down. The driver completely ignores the red signal. The collision is violent. Metal explodes across the intersection. One vehicle spins nearly 180 degrees. Debris scatters in every direction. Several pedestrians nearby narrowly avoid becoming involved. Investigators later determined the SUV driver was attempting to beat the light. A decision that lasted only seconds caused months of consequences. Large commercial vehicles require significantly more distance to stop. When something goes wrong, the results can be catastrophic. Watch the truck descending this steep grade. At first, nothing seems unusual, but notice the increasing speed. The truck is moving faster than surrounding traffic. Brake smoke suddenly becomes visible. That is never a good sign. Moments later, the driver realizes he is losing control. Vehicles ahead begin scattering. Some move onto the shoulder. Others accelerate to escape. The truck continues gaining speed. Then impact. The heavy vehicle strikes multiple cars before finally coming to rest against a roadside barrier. The force involved is enormous. This is a powerful reminder that weight and momentum can turn small mechanical failures into major disasters. Rain doesn't need to be heavy to create dangerous driving conditions. Many drivers underestimate just how slippery a wet road can become. This driver is traveling at what appears to be a reasonable speed. Traffic is light. Visibility remains acceptable. Everything looks under control. Then the vehicle enters a gentle curve. Suddenly, the rear tires lose grip. The car begins rotating. The driver attempts to correct. Unfortunately, the correction is too aggressive. The vehicle snaps in the opposite direction. Now completely out of control, the car slides sideways across multiple lanes. A guardrail prevents an even worse outcome. Hydroplaning can happen faster than most drivers realize, and once traction disappears, recovery becomes extremely difficult. Motorcyclists are particularly vulnerable because they have almost no physical protection. That makes visibility critically important. Watch the silver sedan preparing to turn left. The driver checks for traffic, or at least believes he does. What he doesn't see is the motorcycle approaching rapidly. The rider is partially hidden behind another vehicle. The sedan begins turning. The motorcycle appears. Both drivers react instantly. The rider brakes aggressively. The front suspension dives. Tires scream against the pavement. For a moment, it appears a collision is unavoidable. Then somehow, the rider manages to avoid direct impact, a near miss measured in inches. Sometimes, the most terrifying crashes are the ones that almost happen. If these real Dashcam incidents remind you how unpredictable the road can be, make sure to subscribe to FatalFrameCases, new crashes, close calls, and driving lessons every week. Now let's continue. High speeds reduce reaction time dramatically. At highway velocity, every second matters. The dashcam vehicle is traveling in moderate traffic. Suddenly, several cars ahead begin swerving. A tire has separated from a vehicle and is bouncing freely across the roadway. Drivers attempt evasive maneuvers. Some succeed, others don't. One vehicle overcorrects. The car strikes the median barrier. The impact sends it back into traffic. Multiple secondary collisions follow immediately. What began as a simple mechanical failure rapidly becomes a major highway incident. This is why maintaining your vehicle is just as important as driving carefully. Black ice is among the most dangerous hazards drivers face. The road appears completely normal, yet traction may be nearly non-existent. The dashcam captures a line of vehicles moving cautiously through cold conditions. Then one driver taps the brakes. Almost instantly, the vehicle begins sliding. The driver has virtually no control. The car drifts across lanes. Other drivers attempt to avoid it. Several lose traction themselves. One by one, vehicles begin sliding in different directions. Within seconds, the road resembles a giant pinball machine, a textbook example of how dangerous winter conditions can become. Driving at night introduces challenges that don't exist during daylight. Reduced visibility means hazards often appear with little warning. The dashcam vehicle is traveling normally when headlights suddenly appear ahead. At first, the driver assumes it's a distant vehicle. Then, reality becomes clear. Those headlights are moving directly toward traffic. A wrong-way driver has entered the highway. Panic spreads immediately. Drivers swerve. Brake lights illuminate everywhere. The closing speed is terrifying. The resulting collision is unavoidable. One of the most frightening scenarios any driver can encounter, and one that leaves almost no time to react. Our final clip demonstrates how quickly routine driving can become catastrophic. The SUV approaches an intersection. Traffic appears normal. Nothing unusual stands out. Then another vehicle enters from the side at extreme speed. There is no warning, no opportunity to escape. The impact launches the SUV into a violent rollover. The vehicle tumbles multiple times. Glass, debris, and body panels scatter across the roadway. Witnesses immediately rush to help. Miraculously, the occupants survive. Modern vehicle safety systems performed exactly as designed, but the footage remains absolutely shocking. Every crash in today's video started with an ordinary drive, a commute, an errand, a routine journey. Yet in a matter of seconds, everything changed. Drive carefully, stay alert, and never assume danger can't appear without warning. If you enjoyed today's compilation, subscribe to FatalFrameCases and turn on notifications for more real dashcam crashes and driving lessons from around the world. Thanks for watching.